Hey, welcome everybody. Can you guys hear me all right? Mr. Ron, nice to see you.
Hey,
And
can you hear me?
yeah,
Hey, yeah, been busy. I got, I guess about 4 years ago, got hooked into the car show scene,
oh,
and
okay.
for the last 4 years, we've been producing all of their plaques. So, that's my sublimation side of the house that I do. So, this order is due out by probably by Friday or Saturday at the latest. Got 94 plaques to crank out and an equal amount of shirts and more. So
What kind of plaques are you talking about? Is it
hold tight, I'll show you.
yeah. Oh wow, that looks nice. I
Yeah,
like that eagle. I
let's
like
say
that
it
eagle.
yeah, everything is reversed, but yeah, this is a it's a piano black board, and then of course the metal imprint that's on here, that of course that's white and sublimation. This year the sponsor of the car show they wanted to honor my wife. So if you notice up in the one corner, she is there sitting behind the starburst.
Yes. Yeah, it looks real nice.
So so yeah, that's been keeping me busy with everything
Looks
else.
great, Ron.
Hey, John. Yeah, that's been keeping me busy with, plus everything else, with my regular customers reordering and one-off designs and whatever, that's kind of what we do. Because, a lot of people out there ordering off of Temu and all these other places, and they get it, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is not what I ordered. So, they finally realized, then they come back to Ron and says, hey, can you remake this? Can you fix this for me? I got it as a gift for somebody. Sure, I can for a fee.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I've had those situations where customers go, to save a buck, then they learn the hard way. Well, thank you for sharing, Ron. I wish you the best with that order. Definitely pushing through. It seems like you have flexibility for a Saturday delivery, right? So thank you. Any other brave volunteers want to share? Because the topic that I have today is, how to handle bad situations with customers and how to kind of turn that around. So I put together, some of the stuff that I wanted to talk about. But before we get into it, Charlie, I haven't seen you in a minute. I'm gonna put you on the spot. What do you have anything good to share? Any win that you've had? Since the last time we saw you. I wish I can be in space. You have the best view in town right now, floating around. We can't
Okay.
hear you.
Can you
Uh,
hear me now?
you, yeah, for sure.
Okay, good. Well, yes, I did come back last week, so this is my second week in a row, and I plan on being here from here on out. I just had some family issues that took us away for a while, but the win is we're back, and my team is all together. Um, we're getting ready to print for a big company, like 300 shirts for New Orleans. Um, Snowball design. So I'm working with Charles and getting everything together, getting our website finalized, and I've made my connections with my fulfillment team and all this type of stuff. So we got the business all set up and ready to go, and that was the main thing. So with getting everything squared away, that's a big win for us. So we're ready to rock and roll.
Nice. And the Charles that you're talking about is the Charles that I referred you to.
Yeah, yes. Yes, you referred him to me a while ago. So we got a plan and we're putting it together.
Yeah, let me know if he doesn't help you out. Top notch. That way I can send a passive aggressive email to him.
Right,
He's
right.
not,
He's a
he's a,
good
he,
guy.
yeah, he's definitely good. He's very responsive. Gets stuff done really
Yeah,
quick.
yeah.
Reasonably priced. Can't complain there.
No.
So thank you for for sharing that. That's a big win. 300 shirts.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
So
So
hopefully everything goes well. Well with that. And if you have any speed bumps or any hiccups, you have my info. I think you have my cell phone, right? We
yes, I
chatted it
do.
a bit.
Yes.
I think we chatted not too long ago, right, about a big project that you were working on.
Yes, this is the one. This is the one I was telling you about. So we're getting everything squared
Your
away now.
friend, right?
Yes, yes, my friend.
Oh,
So this is the one we needed to get us over the hump, and so we're excited about that and getting more involved with all the services that we can provide. Just getting up and running. So, mhm.
well, thanks. Well, I'm glad you took my help. Offer. Gave me a call. We had a good little conversation. I'm glad everything is going good for you. Victor, do you have anything any big win you've had that you would like to share with us?
Nothing big, just I got a call from a swim team. They have about 200 people, and so 200 swimmers. So maybe we do something with like doing their the speedos and the jammers. But then I was talking to them about what do you guys look like when you approach the pool, and so that got them thinking into like sweatpants and jackets and then of course the fan stuff. So just exploring that, but
Oh,
it's
that's so
always
cool.
it's always a big incentive for them when they know they're going to make money back. So they're like, yeah, let's do that. I'm like, sure. If you make it part of your sign up registration and then they just get the items, well, that's even better, right? So that
Hmm.
way I don't have to wait for them to come and buy. We just automatically do it.
Have you done like a swim team before?
Yeah, I have 3 swim teams in my roster. Um,
Nice.
so we've done that, and so sports has really always been my thing. So anything for the player and the fan, it's kind of like two selling audiences in one.
Hmm. Yeah, that's really good. I know John just put on their nice upsell.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, it's always good to have different products, and that makes sense. If they're gonna be having their jackets and sweatpants, and for the parent, so it can literally open you up. And it seems like that's a good way to be building these long term customers that they might see you maybe once or twice a year, but you build up enough of those, it'll keep you busy throughout the year.
I
Okay.
could use it. It's been a little quiet this week. We're kind of slow this week, so we're just taking the week off.
Oh, okay. Yeah, normally when it would be slow for us, that's when I would, like, what can we clean? What can we clean? In the office and reorganize and so forth.
So I just changed one client was I was doing business for them, but they were sort of the middleman for a client in London, and it just doesn't make sense for all this back and forth. So at the end of the month, which I will start billing the client in London for all the work. We'll start expanding into other things. But the one thing I have to do is I have to buy all the stock that we have here that they've been owning for a while because the other client was paying for it. And now, and I didn't want to pick it up because they were a slow pay. But now that the client in London is taking over, and sorry, this is a big roundabout thing. I got to count all the sweatshirts at the end of the month and then buy those off of the client, and then they will be my sweatshirts. But then I get the upcharge more for them. So it is a plus in the end. So that's just kind of the big headache that I got coming up.
Okay. Well, if anybody can deal with it, definitely yourself.
Huh.
Let me silence my phone. I don't know.
I got two college boys who definitely can deal with it. That's who's going to deal with it.
Nice. It's always good to have the child labor. I had my fair share of those. My nieces and nephews, pre-treating shirts,
But
custom
I always
shirts.
tell my customers it is child labor, but it's American child labor, so they can count on it.
USA made. So I'm gonna jump into it. Let me see here. I switched up my screen. Where am I at? Can you guys still see me good? You guys aren't seeing my screen, right? Just you guys can see me. Okay. So I kind of
Just you
wanted
and
to.
your pretty face, Edgar.
Nice. This is the angle, right? Any other angle, it's like no bueno. How you would say, John? No bueno. So it's kind of like dealing with how to turn. And I'm gonna give kudos to Mauricio for thinking up this nice topic. Is how do you turn unhappy customers or negative customers into good positive customers? And I've had different experiences with that. And let me make my screen a little bit larger. Yeah, I was just seeing my screen, so I wanted to see some of you guys' faces. So I've had my fair share, issues with different customers when it came to like mistakes that I personally made on my end. One of them that I can remember, like off, because I was trying to think of off the top of my head, some of them that I've had. I remember one of them. I'm in at that time we were printing based out of Santa Ana in Orange County. Um, and then I had a customer in LA in the Burbank area. So some of you guys, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Southern California area. It's probably like I had to say like an hour and a half to 2 hours away. So what happened was that I had some misprints. They needed it for an event. I had to rush to order the blank, and then I ended up printing rush printing them, and then finding myself driving straight to the customer's house over the weekend. That's why when Ron mentioned Saturday delivery, that kind of popped in my head as having to drive to customers on Saturday. And it was funny because it was when we were I what sticks in my head is it was when Burbank was having their fires. So I literally drove to the customers, and then the hills. You can see the hills that are on fire, and then the customer is really thankful. She was grateful, and it's kind of like turning something negative into something positive. And you're gonna have those situations. Those of you that are here, for the most part, most of you guys have been around the block a while, and things are gonna happen. But it's like how do you handle those situations? How do you handle those obstacles? And the first one that I have on here is listen actively. Uh, that's super important because even to this day, one of like I have big avoidance issues, especially if like avoidance, confrontation issues, especially when it comes to having to give people like bad news, especially like uh avoiding conflicts with customers. I remember when customer, I remember it got so bad that this is when I even had like the sales team and I had like receptionists and people would be calling asking for me. I'd be like, no, tell them this, tell them that, because I just didn't want to deal with any like negativity or so then I kind of like over the years, I got a lot better at that, just getting in front of it, you know, being, if you have issues, you have to be the first one to get the bullet, versus using your staff as a shield. So one of the biggest things is listen actively because, if you're dealing with an upset customer, the last thing that they want to feel is that you're not even listening to them, that you're just trying to make up excuses. So it's one of the examples that I have on here is I want to make sure I understand your issue completely. Could you please tell me more about what went wrong in the printing? Can you tell me a little bit about what's going on? Because you might think one thing and then it's something completely different. And then just listening, and even when I have a performance coach slash therapist, and one of the biggest things is like you might be hearing something, thinking something, and what the person was actually trying to say is completely different. So what I like to do is even repeat, what I'm hearing. So like, I'd be like, hey, Ron, if I'm hearing you correctly, what you're telling me is that, so, X, Y, Z. So then that way you want to make sure that you're on the right page with your customers, because the last thing you want to do is be trying to feel like you're solving one problem, but in reality, it has something completely different. Um, I'm not sure if any of you guys are brave enough to share maybe a problem that you've had with a customer, something that went wrong. Any brave volunteers willing to share something like that?
Talking to me? Oh, My problem has been
Well,
dealing with
yeah,
some
you can
customers.
go for it, Kenny.
Huh?
Go for it.
My problem has been dealing with some customers. If you give them too many choices, they want to keep changing things.
No, definitely. What kind of example do you have with that? What kind of choices are you giving your customers?
Well, young lady called me, and her mother, for her mother's birthday, she said she's turning 93, and um,
Wow.
she got everything. I don't know what to get her, but I want to get her a shirt. So me and my graphic designer, I wasn't doing it at the time, came up, put her picture. I didn't know what she wanted, so normally at 93, you use the color of gold and black, and that instead of silver, and we got the balloons and all that, and we put happy birthday, and I sent the photo to her, and she was like, "We don't say happy birthday in this house."
So we want a happy birthday shirt, but can you not say happy birthday?
Right.
So
And
what you
I
end up
said, "Well,
putting
what
on
do
it?
you want?" I say, "Flowers." No, we don't do flowers either. So, you give them too many choices.
Yeah, for that particular customer, did you charge them for the design?
Yes, I have a setup fee, but shoot, I needed to charge her extra $50
What's
on
your,
top of that.
if you don't mind sharing, what's your setup fee?
For that it was $25.
$25. Okay, yeah, that's
25.
definitely, yeah, 25. Yeah, that's
Huh?
definitely, yeah, 25 is definitely a good bargain. Um, I would,
Yeah,
I would, I would keep it, super simple. Get, a couple of, like, get at least that way. It seems like you went through the learning phase with this one, right? Because if you get another one, you already know what questions you're gonna ask up front. Like, what do you want in it? What do you have in mind? A lot of the artists that I work with, they have like different birthday templates that they use, right? They just change the fonts and the names and the pictures. So definitely, thank you for sharing that. Asking them up front exactly what they need, because in that way you don't want to find yourself where you printed something and then they don't like what you printed, right? Because it seems like
right.
you send them the file. Is that an order that you already completed?
No, no. I was
You're
in
still
the
working on it.
I I was in the beginning stages of it.
Oh,
And,
okay.
well, I don't like these flowers. Can you make blue flowers? And um,
Oh yeah.
her head is touching the flowers and all that. So I learned to you want to change it, you're gonna pay for it.
No, for sure. Especially for something like that. If you're saying like $50, $50 is more like a good starting point, right? For
Yeah.
something. And I'm not the best graphic artist. It's funny because I was doing a banner for our website, like, for t-shirts and stuff like that, and I spent so many hours, and I thought I was really good. And then I showed it to my wife, and she's like, "Man, that looks bad." Then I had like one of our graphic artists, take a look at it and redo it, and I was like, it just reminded me of how bad I am at design, right? So definitely you wanna, make sure that you're charging properly for it. And then I see Mr. Ron, you raised your hand.
Yeah. For Kenny's situation, one of the things that I had to start to do early on, because people will change you to death. They want this, they want that. So, I'll do a markup, I'll send it to them, and they get a chance to look at it. But I also tell them up front, okay, you get two changes. That's it. Um, because if not, like you said, they're going to change you to death. Change this, change that. I don't like this. I don't like that. And after the two changes, then they want a third one. Now they pay. And my fee for making changes after two, I charge $75. I don't play. that will help them to think at the same time, do I want to pay this money? You'll find out if they really want the job anyway, because so many people are just penny shopping you. They want your design services, and then they'll take that design and go somewhere else and get it made from Johnny Street for $20-$30 cheaper. So, it really helps to hone them in to see if they really want to work with you and they're going to pay for it. If not, then, they're just shopping you, because every time you send them a mock-up, they're keeping it. And, and I would not, I would get in the habit of not sending you high quality mock-ups, downgrade the quality on there. So if they decide to go somewhere else, guess what? They got to work with what you sent them, because they will do that in a minute.
And then when you deal with that kind of stuff, Ron, are you pre-billing them up front before you even do anything?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, as long as I've been in business, I require that all of my work's prepaid, because, I have gotten stuck before with people that didn't want to pay or slow pay. Then they want to argue, well, this and that, like, okay, no, 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 no. So we adopted a policy a while ago, and you want an order from us? Okay, tell me what you want. This, and I tell this is your cost. Okay, you pay it up front. That way, I'm not stuck with all my time and a custom piece of material here, a product that nobody else can use, especially when it's got a face on it.
Yeah. No, that's definitely really good advice, Ron. I see, Benny, you have your hand up.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, I would ditto what Ron said. I charge about the same. For depending on how many colors or the complexity of the design. But for Kenny's case, but when people call or when you start, with the with the process, I'm finding what type of design that they want, whatever. I usually tell people to, if they're not unsure what they want, go find it somewhere, something similar on the internet. Send me the URL so that I could kind of like guesstimate on what they want, because let's say you already talked about the design and all of a sudden you created a design and the total expectation is totally different, but now you wasted your time creating this design. And I don't know if you charged them already, but I would just give the people the heads up. Hey, go out there, find what you really want to, something similar or almost exact, and then I could, redraw it or duplicate based on, your specs or the information that you want on your design.
No, that's really good. That's really good feedback, Benny. Yeah, definitely asking for, like you said, asking for different sources so to get an idea of exactly what they want. So that way, in the birthday situation, like, you know, yeah, send me some examples. Or, yeah, we don't do flowers. We don't do happy birthday. This is kind of what we like. Okay, everybody seems to be kind of saying that a starting line is $75, Kenny. So, uh, 25 $25 is really low. I'm gonna send you all my work and then I'm gonna resell it for $75. How about that?
Yeah, but I learned tacking on that extra fee that solved the problem.
No, definitely it will. Because once you add your fee, it's like a two ways. One, you're upping your fee because that way you wanna make sure that you value your time, you're getting paid for your time, right? And then once you up the price, you'll be super surprised how customers change their mind. All of a sudden they're happy with what you have, right? Once you kind of put those boundaries. But the biggest thing, Kenny, is to have these boundaries. And I like to use the word boundaries. My wife, she's a therapist. That's the famous word for therapist is boundaries. Right. So then that way you keep them within the lane from the get go. Like, hey, it's gonna be $75. You get like Ron was saying, you get two revisions. and this is how it's gonna go. So that way you're not worried about customer changing up your process. And I see Ron, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I just kind of want to tag on to that is, you know, people will price shop you to death. And a lot of them will come back and say, "Well, I can go down here and get it for $10 less." And my comment is, "Okay, go get it," because I know what my prices are. I set my prices, and I don't haggle because the big thing is once you drop your price for customers like you have, if you go too low, you'll never get back where you need to be because word of mouth travels fast. That family reunion or that other person's going to go to, well, I got mine for this price and that price. And now it's going to be hard for you to come back up. So set your price, be stable with it, and know when to walk away from work because, you got to put a value on your time, your time you spent to learn your craft and produce everything and be proud of what you're putting out there. So just kind of keep that in mind.
That's a good point, Ron. Especially for the family reunion shirts, you're gonna have a lot of family members asking, "Where did you get those? How much did you pay for those?" Oh, what? Kenny charged you way too much, or Kenny didn't charge you enough, right? So that's kind of one of the things. Also, educating your customers, right? Because it seems like you're doing it with direct to garment. Because a lot of the stuff they'll be like, "Oh man, uh, Kenny charged you a lot." They don't understand, like, hey, this is a full color graphic. It's direct to garment versus if they think it's like a one color screen printed shirt, it's like night and day. But definitely have confidence in the freezer and the quality that they print. So when somebody sees them at an event and they touch it, it's not gonna have that screen printed feel. It's gonna be full color. That's why if you're my rule of thumb always was for direct to garment is to really showcase the capabilities of full color, right? Because you don't want to do, 100 direct to garment shirts where it's just one color, right? Because you might as well just screen print that. So I see your design, Kenny. It looks good. And Benny, you have your hand up. Oh, Victor.
Yeah, so you probably heard me mention in the past that I don't charge for designing up front, but I do put it in the price of the shirt. So I try not to do a lot of 1, 2, 3 t-shirt orders. I do 15, 20. I try to do bigger ones. And the way I deal with that in terms of revisions is I always tell them to go and find what you like. Like go send me 3 or 4 images because if they're not going to do that work, they're really not that interested. So I never just start based on what they tell me. I give them homework. If they come back and they tell me this is what I want, then I'll do the first design based on everything that we talked about. And then when they make the edits, I'll take one edit and then make the changes that they say. And then if they come up with a second edit, I always say back to them, okay, well, this is our second edit. Can you focus on more than just the things that you were looking at right now? Because I want to wrap up all the edits with this one. And usually they go along with that. They don't give me too much of a hassle. And that kind of, that kind of takes away the awkwardness to like, you're wasting too much time kind of thing. You just kind of get them to focus on the one design. Plus, I never quote a shirt until I have the design done, because if they don't like me, it'll be the difference between a $25 t-shirt and a $20 t-shirt sometimes, So if they're not nice to me, so I will give them a reasonable price, but it's always I always give the price until the very end until the design is done because of course colors and volume and all sorts of different things. But
So
that's
like
how
it's an so like let's say for Kenny's situation where it's like a birthday shirt, uh, so you wouldn't like let's say if it's just one birthday shirt, you wouldn't bill like tell them hey it's gonna be $100 for that one shirt, or if you don't have a design it's gonna be $40, or if it
I
was like a one shirt deal, how would you handle that?
I find that the one shirt deals end up costing me $200 to make, even though I'm making $100. So I used to work in a jewelry store when I was in college, and I used to pay that I had that job and I paid my way through college. And you get paid on commission. And it was, when someone would come in, they buy the $4,000 or $5,000 ring, they were really serious to do it, and you get a nice fat commission on that, and that was awesome. It was always that one customer that came in and bought the $99 flyer ring, and good for that flyer ring, and they bought that, but then they wanted wrapped, and they want the bag, and they want the whole thing. And it was like, you know what? It just, I didn't make anything on that sale. So I try to walk away from one and two sales for that reason. And if I was a friend, I'll do it. My sister-in-law is like, hey, can I get a t-shirt? I want this logo on it. I'll do it for her, no big deal. But I just don't take customers off the street and say, I want this one shirt, because it's just not worth my time. And they want that shirt to be so special and so great and the best thing that's ever been worn on anybody's back in the history of the world. I just don't have the time for that kind of creativity on their part.
Well, that's definitely good feedback. Sorry, Kenny. You're gonna have to say no to this one. Benny, I see you have your hand up.
Yeah, because I just saw a comment on the chat. I think John Doe Ellis, he said something about it, but what about adding a watermark to the? Don't even use watermarks. I'm telling you right now, AI will take it right out and will sharpen your image. I've seen it. I mean, watermark was the thing back then, but what I like to do when, like, on my TikTok channel or any channel, I mean any social media that you have, when it comes to posting your design, I like to have movement. So you could screen capture the movement, but there's going to be some sort of blur effect that's happening. So it's going to be harder for whoever it is that wants to steal your design. And but like what I believe Ron said is, like, do not give out your high quality image. Always give out the low quality image with some sort of artifact or whatever, just to avoid any copying issues. I don't know if anyone's seen the new Adobe, I guess the Adobe Max video that came out from London. Scary, scary stuff.
Really?
What I could do is just amazing. It's just gonna blow your mind.
You're saying that's the new Adobe? Is that the Adobe like Photoshop and Illustrator and stuff like that?
Yeah, they just and Firefly. That's part of. I guess they're using the some new Firefly model
Oh
for
wow.
the generative AI. I was just floored when I saw the new stuff that came out. And it's going to
Yeah.
come out soon because it's already in beta. But
Uh-huh.
holy cow, I'm just saying.
Yeah, the AI is definitely improving. I remember when we had like a art AI. I'm not sure if some of you guys remember this was maybe sometime last year, towards the end of the year. I did like all about art and AI, and we did some examples of what it could do. And then I used it this weekend because I was doing some work, and it was like a bunch of stuff that I was doing, and then I'm all like, turn this into an image that would represent everything that we've been doing. And it came up with this graphic, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. Versus, when I tried it last year, where it was like I couldn't even spell, it was like clunky. I was really impressed, and then I logged into my ChatGPT uh, today. I use it every day, and today had a new update, pretty much saying that now it's gonna, because it normally learns off each thread, each chat that you're doing, so you can ask it questions about that. But now it's pretty much their update is like, hey, now I can learn with all the conversations we've had. So I was like, well, okay, interesting. So now I can take all that data. And I was literally talking to somebody, to our sales team yesterday, um, in regards to using it for scripting and just to talk to it to get information. Because I'm not sure if some of you guys are familiar with ChatGPT, but in the back end and your settings, I like to put pretty much my whole life story in it, so it knows everything about myself. So then, if I have a situation, I'll be like, hey, solve this, or tell me how I should solve this. So that's why I put as much info about myself in it, So then it goes about trying to solve that problem as if I was doing it. So it's like it's crazy different when you do it that way versus just like a blank slate. So that's crazy to see that, Benny. That how 'cause I've seen some TikToks where they show some of the Photoshop tools where it's like remove this, change that, add that. So it's like it's definitely getting crazy scary. It's like I went to a weekend event, and it was about business related, and there were different instructors, and I'm like, my goal in the next couple of years is to learn stuff where I'm not gonna be replaced by AI, because it's like a lot of people are gonna be displaced. Your graphic artists, your attorneys, all the people you thought were gonna be the last ones to go are gonna be the first ones to go. So yeah, so it's definitely interesting. Thank you for sharing that, Benny. I know I just went down the doomsday rabbit hole situation.
Yeah, I
And
just posted the link of the video, which came out yesterday. So it was a live event, 2 hours. I highly recommend watching the video. You guys will be blown away.
I'm gonna copy it.
And it's
No,
from
Mauricio,
Adobe, straight from Adobe.
I'm gonna take a look at it. I'm copying it. You always have some good resources, Benny. I appreciate it. John, I see you have your your hand up.
I did a couple of things. One, Benny, I love that, and I appreciate your knowledge on that watermark thing, or basically some way to kind of change that so they can't copy that for sure. Um, Definitely, I would say dealing with angry customers. I've been there, done it many and many a times. One
You're
is
like the
always,
main topic, right? You're like
yeah.
back
I
to the
mean,
main
the one
topic.
is, I understand. You know what I mean? That solves a lot of problems. Is, hey, I understand. Even if you think they're crazy and that they're being out of control, you tell them, I understand. Now let's clarify and try and get to what the real problem is. A lot of times when people are freaking out about things, it's like not even what they're really freaking out about, what caused the issue. But letting them know that you understand and you feel them is always a great starting point. And as we were talking, something that I picked up from Bradley one time that I thought was probably one of the greatest bits of information. I did 25 years of construction, so I've done all kinds of different side projects and things and done all kinds of things. And one time I seen him put this up and I thought this was amazing. And it was a triangle, if you guys can see it. And it says fast, good, and cheap. And he says you get 2 out of 3. He's like, you can have fast and good, it won't be cheap. You can have fast and cheap, but it won't be good. You can have cheap and fast, but it won't be good. I mean, you get 2 out of 3. And it really, really kind of helped. And when I seen it, I was like, man, that is amazing. And my youngest son, or my middle son, actually, he's 26 now. He does videography and things like that. When I seen that, I was like, dude, take this and know it now at your young age. Like this is great information, and especially for dealing with people, when they're looking for a different deal. I mean, if you can do it fast for them, great. Like I said, you got those other kind of things that you can do it fast and good, but they're going to pay good money for that. If because then you will be ready to do it because it'll be worth your while. They'll pay for that. And the fast and cheap, okay, well then if it's cheap and you want it fast, it's not going to be your best work. That's where you take out that perfectionism clause and you're like, okay, here you have something. You have something in the time frame that you want it and for the price point that you want to look at. So it's definitely, I thought that was an amazing point. I would just want to share with you guys. I appreciate all of you and the knowledge that I'm gaining through this boardroom with all of you guys.
Thanks for sharing that, John. You got me all motivated. Hey, Mauricio, I think we just found our new host. Hostess with the mostest. Hey, Tony, I missed your hand earlier. I know you had your hand up.
Yes, but a lot of guys answered it, so I could just, touch on it. Like what last week, Kenny had brought up some good information about his printer was stopping on the second run of the print, and the guys came up. Everybody put their information out there, and it really helped me because I was about to lose my mind. I spent all this money on this printer, and it's going all the way, and then it just stopped in the last quarter of it, wouldn't print, and then on my second run, it wouldn't print. And I'm an IT tech, so I would just fiberglass it because I couldn't figure it out. And lo and behold, I have a laptop that has a small processor on it. It was good enough just for one job, but when I was lining it up and then I had multiple windows open, that's when it started bogging down and slowing down and just throwing me out. So, Kenny, I appreciate you bringing that up yesterday and everybody last week, and everybody else who commented on the processor part of it. And I should have caught that being an IT guy, but I just wasn't. I was just looking at the printer, So I was like, "Dang, Edgar, I'm sending this printer back to you."
Hey, I'm
So
not. I didn't send it back to me. I'll use it if you, as long as you
I
send it
know.
back for free.
I was gonna say, look, you
I
need to fly out here and come help me.
hey,
But
I didn't sell it to you.
yeah,
You're reaching out to the wrong department, sir.
right. So, but and then also on the watermarks, that was a good response, because the AI will remove that water mark like it's nothing, and make your design even look better. So, man, and so like this forum is just really informative. Everybody got a lot of good information on the prices, on what you're doing and everything, and so I just want to, stay tuned in. I got my team online and we just get more information from everybody. And we're going to start reaching out to some of you guys on here and seeing how you're doing in your business and see if we can share some more one-on-one ideas and, bring it up because, like Ron, I remember when I first started, I was looking at Ron and what he was doing, and I was just so inspired by him because he started off just like me, with one system, and then he just expanding and expanding. And I've been away for like 7 months, and when I come back, man, his shop is just incredible. You see that design he did, that plaque he did? He wasn't doing that, a little while ago at that level, I don't believe, but my hat's off to you, Ron, and everybody's doing their thing. Victor's good to hear your input again, and I'm just glad to be back. And lastly, Benny, I'm from Niagara Falls. I'm born and raised in Niagara Falls. What's up with that shirt?
Well, I was born and raised down south in the city, so
Okay,
I'm from, yeah, but I don't know.
right, all
It
right.
was given to me as a gift, but
It's all good. It's all good. So
Hey man, you was out in space. What happened? Now you just landed?
yeah, I landed, bro. I had to come on
Yeah.
home.
Your background changed.
Yeah.
I'm
Next time
from
you go to space,
Rochester.
next time you go
Okay,
to space,
Rochester.
invite me.
Yes.
Yes, I'm from the Falls. Yes. Okay,
It's
so
too
there's
cold up there for me. It's like Canada. I'm gonna go down south even further.
yeah. It's so good. It's all good. So, but that's all I really had.
No, well, thanks for sharing. Yeah, definitely. We it's good to see the progress that everybody's making. I'm excited for you, Tony. You have a lot of stuff that you're working on as well. Definitely reach out to me if you're having issues. I'm not. I'm familiar with tech support as far as with the pre-jets because I just had so many of them in production that the advantage with them is that they do the same like stuff, right? So it's because we had like 12 of them printing nonstop, right? So it's not like the first one did something different than the second one that did something different than the third one, right? They all pretty much, and Ron could probably tell you since he has a couple of them there. For the most part, they're like, they'll start acting up similar, so you can troubleshoot them the same way. Versus like, oh man, I just spent 2 days on this one, now this other one, I gotta figure out what's wrong with that one. So for the most part, they act up the same way. So that's why when you said like uh, last week when Kenny was talking about like it stopping, I'm all like, it can be the cable, it can be the screen. You can have to
Right.
restart your computer. I used to have that a lot. When I got more advanced at fixing those types of prints where like it does the white base, then maybe halfway through the color, it'll just stop on you and it'll die.
Yes.
I got good at it when it was like an expensive garment or they were picking it up. It was rushed. I would definitely would not recommend it unless you're like super experienced and willing to sacrifice the print head, right? But what I would do is that I would like let's say if it was already on the pattern, I'd have it covered with a piece of cloth. I would probably lower it, the table lower, let it start, printing, right? So like let's say if it did the white base good, then I would just turn off the white base and then let it start doing the color. And then as it got close to where it stopped, I would raise it up, pull the shirt off, and then it'll just pick up where it left off. So you, for the
Mm,
most part, you wouldn't be able to see that. Or if it did,
right.
or if it did it where like half of the white base was gone, I would do the same thing. Like start the white base halfway halfway through, just raise it up, move the cloth, and then it'll pick up where it left off. I I definitely I trained staff to do that. That was like the worst case scenario. Don't try this at home unless you're willing to ruin a print head, right? But once you get the hang of it, you're able to do stuff like that. I see Ron. I'm pretty sure Ron's done some creative stuff with his free jet.
You know,
If I'm not mistaken,
yeah, it's you gotta when you get these machines, a lot of people, they just, well, I got this machine, it's going to work perfect 100% all the time. We all like to think that, but because they are printers and printers in general, with an IT background, like Charlie, printers are the worst devils in the world because they'll work now, next day they won't work, or the next minute, but you gotta dig in. You can't give up. You can't throw your hands up because it's going to tell you what it's doing, and you just kind of gotta troubleshoot and work your way through it. But if you're running a heavy load and you're sending some massive files to these things, the best thing you can do is put that on a dedicated computer, a dedicated laptop, and let it run. Because if you don't, if you're using it to multitask, to do your billing and to do this, and you got the internet open, now that's taking away resources from your processor and the amount of RAM that's inside your system. So, think about that. So if you're having problems and things are slowing down, they're backing up, it's taking forever, close some stuff out. But whenever you get a chance, when your business builds up to that point, get another machine so you can run them dedicated. And that's what I do with mine. I run dedicated laptops on both of my machines, and soon to be a dedicated laptop on my new DTF when that one arrives. Uh,
Okay.
because I print hard. I send some large files out there, and I expect it to run. So it's got to have a processor to do it. And see, a lot of people forget about that. Like you said, they want to blame the machine when in reality it's
Right.
your computer just driving the thing.
Yes. That's what it was. It was definitely my computer.
thanks for sharing that, Ron. Before we wrap it up, Ben, I know Mauricio. He's already, showing me the sad emoji, the sad panda emoji because I'm past 3 o'clock. Benny, I had seen that you had your hand up. Is there something you wanted to add before we wrap it
No,
up?
I just wanted to know if you received that video I sent you regarding graphic designing and contracts.
Is that an email that you sent me, or the
Uh,
or the link?
I think it was an
You put
email, yeah.
because you put a link on the chat.
No, it's not
Okay,
on, well, the one that's on the chat is the one from Adobe, the Adobe Max that just came out yesterday. That's the good one. I sent you a previous link, or I guess over the past, about like a few days ago, in regards
okay,
to
I might have missed it. I'll take a look at that because I
graphic
know you had
designing
sent
and
me something. I know you had sent me something over the weekend, right? And I responded to that one.
yeah, that was it. That was
Benny
it.
gets the over the weekend love from me. So he has a direct connect. Those are you guys that have my cell phone or my emails. I'm not scared to call you guys over the weekend and respond to you. So I know, John, you're laughing. You're the only one I don't call. So, well, I appreciate you guys for joining. We successfully got to step one out of step 10 steps for how to troubleshoot. We got to step one of listening. So maybe next week we'll pick it up on step two. I definitely appreciate all the feedback. The main thing for this week, like Tony mentioned, is about helping each other out, troubleshooting. I always like to kind of let the group navigate through what we need to figure out. But definitely appreciate everybody that joins us, sharing. Kenny, hopefully we helped you out this week. Reach out to Charles about your graphic art. And other than that, you guys have a great, rest of your week, and we'll see you guys next week. You guys have a good one. Bye.